Hi, this is the story of David and Goliath. Let's first talk about the origin of David's lineage. David was the youngest son of Jesse, who belonged to the tribe of Judah. This tribe was one of the 12 tribes of Israel. Descended from Judah, the fourth son of Jacob, also known as Israel. David's ancestry includes notable figures such as Boaz and Ruth. Ruth, a Moabite woman who became an ancestor of David through her marriage to Boaz. David's lineage is significant as it fulfills God's promise that the Messiah would come from the line of Judah. This taken from Genesis chapter 49, verse 10. Now let's talk about the origin of Goliath. Goliath was a warrior from Gath, one of the five major city-states of the Philistines. The Philistines were a people of the Hagan origin who settled along the coastal regions of Canaan. Goliath is described in the Bible as a giant, standing over 9 feet tall, heavily armed with a large spear and protected by a massive coat of armor. His imposing stature and military experience made him a formidable opponent. Then let's talk about the cause of the fight. The confrontation between David and Goliath occurred during a war between the Israelites and the Philistines. The Philistines had gathered their forces for war at Koch in Judah. So while the Israelites camped in the valley of Hela for 40 days, Goliath came forth every morning and evening, challenging the Israelites to send out a champion to fight him. His challenge was meant to decide the outcome of the battle without a full-scale conflict, a practice known as representative combat. Goliath's defiance was not just against the Israelite army, but also against the God of Israel. His taunt and blasphemy created fear among Israelites, who were too intimidated to face him. David, a young shepherd, was sent by his father Jesse to bring food to his brothers who were in the Israelite army. Upon hearing Goliath's challenge and seeing the fear of the Israelite soldiers, David volunteered to fight Goliath. Motivated by his faith in God and his indignation at Goliath's defiance. Let's talk about the battle itself. David approached King Saul and offered to fight Goliath. Despite his youth and lack of military experience, David convinced Saul by recounting his past experiences of protecting his sheep from lions and bears. David believed that the same God who delivered him from these predators would deliver him from Goliath. Saul offered David his armor, but David declined, choosing instead to face Goliath with his shepherd's staff, 5 smooth stones, and a sling. As David approached Goliath, the giant mocked him for his youthful experience and appearance and lack of traditional weaponry. However, David declared his faith in God, stating that the battle belonged to the Lord and that God would deliver Goliath into his hand. With a single stone from his sling, David struck Goliath on the forehead, causing the giant to fall face down to the ground. David then used Goliath's own sword to kill him and cut off his head. This unexpected victory caused the Philistines' army to flee in fear, and the Israelites pursued and defeated them. Then let's talk about the aftermath of the fight. One of the aftermath is the impact on the Philistines. The defeat of Goliath by David led to a significant moral loss for the Philistines. Their champion fall caused panic and disarray, leading to their retreat. The Israelites seized the opportunity to pursue and rout the fleeing Philistines forces. securing a decisive victory. Let's also talk about the aftermath of the fight on the Israelites. David's victory over Goliath brought great encouragement and renewed faith to the Israelite army. It demonstrated that with faith in God, even the seemingly impossible could be achieved. David's actions also earned him a place of honor in Israel. He was brought before King Saul, who initially doubted him and was later celebrated as a hero. Then the impact of the fight and the aftermath on David. This victory marked the beginning of David's rise to prominence in history. He became a trusted member of Saul's court, and his military successes and growing popularity eventually led to tension with Saul, who became jealous of David's victories. Now, let's discuss lessons from this story. Faith in God is the first lesson. David's confidence was rooted in his faith in God. He believed that God would protect him and give him victory. This teaches us the importance of trusting in God's power and promises, even in seemingly impossible situations. Another lesson is courage and initiative. David did not wait for someone else to step up. He took the initiative and faced the giant. This highlights the importance of courage and taking actions when confronted with challenges. Let's also talk about another lesson, which is God uses the humble. David was a young shepherd, not a seasoned warrior, yet God used him to deliver Israel. This demonstrates that God can use anyone, regardless of their status or experience, to accomplish great things. Another lesson is spiritual warfare. The battle between David and Goliath symbolizes the spiritual battles believers face. Like David, believers must rely on God's strength rather than their own powers. Now, let's talk about the spiritual connections to God. The story of David and Goliath is a powerful illustration of how faith in God can lead to victory over seemingly insurmountable obstacles. David's faith was unwavering. He knew that the battle was not his alone, but belonged to the Lord. This story teaches us that when we face giants in our own lives, whether they are fears, challenges, or temptations, or sickness, or whatever it might be, we must believe and remember that God is with us. The victory of David over Goliath also points to a greater spiritual truth. Just as David defeated Goliath, Jesus Christ, a descendant of David, defeated sin and death on the cross. The story of David and Goliath foreshadows the ultimate victory that Jesus would achieve, offering salvations to all who believed. Other important details that we should note in this story. One is preparation. David's time as a shepherd was not wasted. It was the waiting time to victory. It prepared him for the battle he fought against Goliath. Similarly, God often uses our current circumstances to prepare us for future challenges. Another important detail we should note in this story is rejection of worldly methods. David rejected Saul's hammer, choosing instead to rely on what he knew. This signifies the importance of relying on God's method rather than worldly solutions. Another important detail is public declaration of faith. David's victory was a public demonstration of God's faith and power. Our victories and testimonies can similarly serve to glorify God and encourage others in their faith. In summary, the story of David and Goliath is rich with lessons on faith, courage, and the power of God. It reminds us that no matter the size of the giant we face, with God on our side, we can overcome. This narrative not only encourages believers to trust in God, but also serves as a precursor to the ultimate victory achieved through Jesus Christ. Thank you.